Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the CVUO Podcast. Today we have Evan and Hassan talking about the CVUO scandals. So lay back, get comfortable, enjoy.
Okay, first we should introduce ourselves, or I guess this is when we start the podcast. We should introduce ourselves. So I'm Hassan, and then you can introduce yourself.
I'm Evan, the head of VP website.
Website. And today our podcast is about all of the CVO scandals that have happened in the last year. We didn't really have any scandals before last year, so it's really just in September. The reason I actually have Evan on here with me today is because Evan's reaction to podcasts is 50-50. Sometimes he's super down with them. Oh, sorry, his reaction to scandals. Sometimes he's super down with them, and sometimes he's super against them.
I'm all for a scandal as long as I don't get in trouble for it.
You've been for things which could have gotten us in trouble before. The whole mini SLA was your idea, Evan.
Oh, don't pin that on me.
Okay, so like I mentioned to Evan, is that we don't actually have that many scandals. So we're actually not gonna have a lot to talk about because most of our scandals are like in teams, like personal scandals within the team, which obviously we can't talk about. But that's why we have this like image of ourselves as
we're here to talk about the scandals, except for all the scandals we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about why we're doing this.
Because we're bored?
Yes, but also because it's like very transparent of us, I think, to talk about all of our scandals. So very, we have nothing to hide, obviously.
So dumb.
Okay, so we'll just go down the list. I think the first thing I have is the Morris Head door we broke, but you weren't there for that.
I actually have no idea what this is.
Okay, cool. Then I get to explain it to you. Perfect. Okay, so for the clubs fair, the very first clubs fair?
Yep. Oh, yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah. So for the very first clubs fair, we did an across campus clubs fair, like from CVY all the way to like the Grand Alley. And it wasn't like the regular clubs fair where conventions would lay out the tables for us. Yosu had rented tables and we had to basically put them out ourselves. But they weren't like the regular tables that you see at clubs fair. They were like big, heavy metal tables, and we had 60 of them, and like 6 of us in the morning at like 8 a.m., like an hour before the club fair started. And they were on these like 3 carts, so like 20 each. And we had to basically roll them out from the Yosu office, which is right in front of the bookstore, all the way out to wherever they need to be, which is like CVY and stuff.
I'm so glad I was not there. I didn't have to do this.
It was, oh my God, it was so much manual labor. But what ended up happening is that we left one table at UCU for like 2 people to like put out at UCU, and we took 2 other tables towards like Pivot, or where Pivot used to be, and then past the Couches Lounge and into Morissette. So we could go out Morissette and up those slopes that are outside Morissette, because they were on like wheels, and we couldn't exactly carry them up the stairs. But the carts wouldn't fit through the doors of Morissette because they were just too big. And we eventually got one through just by like wiggling it through, but the second one wasn't going through. And we were doing like a 3, 2, 1 push kind of deal, so we just forced it through. We rammed it so hard into the door frame that the door frame just bent completely. And we got it through, and then it was just, the door frame was just sticking out, and it was obviously a safety hazard, but like we didn't actually pay attention to that in the morning. But then when the clubs fair ended, we had to bring all the tables back the same way, and we noticed that this like basically knife or, and so I just bent it back. I tried to bend it back to where it was supposed to be, and they just snapped in my hand.
Aren't you like a mechanical engineer? Like, isn't this like, oh, we gotta fit this object through a door? Like, I don't know. It seems like a mechanical engineer thing.
Yes, I'm not a good mechanic, but it was actually great because now it wasn't a system. It was in my hand now. And what we did with it is we like took it back to, well, we didn't have the office back then. We had just 215, and the 215 roof is like open, one part of it, and there's like a pipe hanging. So like Loam and Claire braided garbage bags, and then there was a hole in the door frame, and we basically stuck it up on the roof, on the ceiling. So now I wonder if it's still there. I doubt it though, because I'm pretty sure like cleaning and stuff. But it was there all year while we were there. But the scandalous part is that we didn't tell anyone about this broken door.
This
We
is
told,
such a
like,
lame scandal story that whoever's editing this should just take this all out. It's so boring.
at first we told Jason, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know anything about this." And then, like a few months later, we tell Sam, and he was like, "Oh my God, we should tell someone so they can fix the door." But we didn't actually end up getting in trouble. They were very forgiving, so that was a pretty lame one. I guess the next one is also pretty lame because it also had nothing actually happened. It was a sports shooting club. Actually, it was your friend who made this. I went to.
Yeah, I just saw him a few days ago.
Yeah. So basically, when we first started getting clubs, there was a club, the sports shooting club. I remember Emily actually asked me, she's like, "Should I approve this club?" Because back then, like, he was very new and she didn't know. But I said yes to approving it, just because there was no rules against a gun club.
They had a solid constitution, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a pretty solid constitution, and everything was pretty okay. Like, they followed all the rules. So we approved them, and there was no problem until actually it was because they took like the initiative and reached out to, I think, protections. They were like, "Hey, we're a club that got approved. We just want to make sure there's gonna be no trouble," which I thought was pretty cool of them because that's when the whole thing started. And then I remember I had to like talk to, because at the time we were only approving we weren't actually approving clubs officially because the board hadn't approved anything like club policy manual or anything.
Are we official yet?
So we weren't official yet. Yeah.
Are we now though?
Oh yeah, we are.
Okay.
We can approve clubs officially now. They still have to go through the commissioners and stuff, but like now everything's official. But at the time it wasn't, so I had to talk to Sam, and it was like, "What are we doing?" Because he's like, "What if something happens and then we get in trouble in terms of the club wasn't even approved?" But then I think like the club itself sorted it out with Yosu and with the university. They were like, "Yeah, we're not going to bring any guns on campus. It's just a hobby thing." And yeah, again, a very lame.
Cool story, bro. I heard the club's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I met I see them at the club fair, and they're pretty chill.
Yeah, they just go out to shooting ranges or something like that.
Yeah, I think people on our team were even like, "Why do we have a gun club?"
Yeah, it is a red flag.
Yeah, but that ended up pretty. And then they're all pretty lame.
I remember telling the president.
The best political club award.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The shooting club president?
I remember talking to the shooting club president. I'm like, "Yo, your club has a bit of drama." And he's like, "What, really?" Like, he had no idea of all this stuff happening in the background.
I think it was really cool of them to reach out to protections themselves and like just make sure everything was okay. Because if they didn't, it would have completely not been on anyone's radar. Okay, so we should probably mention. So we are re-recording this a little bit because someone sat on their mic last time.
Yeah, I wonder who that was.
Yeah, some idiot. So we're re-recording it.
Days later.
So we were days later. Yeah, because I listened back to it and you couldn't understand anything. But we were just talking about the best political club award. And then that's when I sat on my mic and then everything just cut off. Basically, what that was for our Student Life Awards event, we had a best political club award because we have like awards for every category that we have, and political clubs is one of them. And some people didn't like that. They thought that if we picked the best political club, that CVUO and YOSA would be associating themselves with a political party.
Which is weird because like I thought this like would happen with the best religious club, but no, they were fine.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. And you know what's funny is that none of the religious clubs actually even applied because we have a category for best cultural/religious. So it was just cultural clubs. I guess which you would think would be a problem too, but no, nobody cared. It was just the poli-sci kids. They were like, ooh.
Are there only like 3 political clubs to begin with?
There's 4. So the NDP, Liberals, Green, and Conservatives. And there's actually a right-wing politics club as well.
Of course.
And I think INSAF, who's like a Palestine or like a Philistine thing, they also identify as a political club. I know the Davin Club was a political club too. I guess a total of 6. But so what ended up happening? So the big thing we talked about last time was that no one reached out to CVUO about this issue because we announced the award and no one ever messaged us, so we didn't know what was going on. And someone brought it up at the General Assembly, so that's why it felt like a much bigger deal than it was.
Who brought it up? Just one of the U Ottawa people?
It was she was I don't know if I know this year she's a board member. I don't know if she was last year. I think she was. Yeah, so it was Kim. She's like a board of directors for engineering. And I know her or I guess I've talked to her before. And that's why I was like, why did she just message me? But she did message me on Slack. But like I mentioned last time, I don't check Slack. So I guess she did reach out to me, but like what I meant is that no one reached out to, like, if someone just had the Instagram CVUO, like DM CVUO, would be like, all right, this is a situation, explain it. I think that could have resolved it a lot better. But then it was brought up at the General Assembly, and this was the first, like, Jason was hearing about it too, so he couldn't really answer it either. But so basically what we did is we released like a document explaining or like a bunch of posts on Instagram explaining what the award was about, and just saying that we were, not picking our favorite political party and just picking
there's criteria that we were evaluating them on
based on their events and stuff like that. So yeah, that was that. And then the next one situation entanglement that we had was the Students for Life Club, which probably most people listening know about. Basically, the Students for Life Club is a pro-life club that applied to be a club. And I actually went back and read my blog post about it just to get a better idea of what was happening during the time.
Because this was like a year ago now, or like almost a year.
This was like in October. It was
right.
October. So it was at the beginning of the semester, and it was a long time ago, so our memory's a little not great on it. But basically, they applied to be a club. And at the time, we also had a pro-choice club. And a pro-life club, so we kind of just approved it.
We were like approving like 100 clubs like in 1 week. Like there was tons of clubs applying, so it just kind of got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually when we approve clubs, we kind of just read their constitutions, and if their constitutions meet the criteria we have like a very specific criteria for what constitutions should have, then like they're good to go. And we also had a line that was really important that became an issue, was that in the UOSU Constitution, that allowed clubs to be fully autonomous.
Right.
And the Students for Life Club also had in their constitution is like, our views don't represent the views of CVUO or UOSU. So those two things put together kind of just like, okay, we can approve this club. And obviously that created a problem with a lot of students. So then I think the situation happened was right before reading week, we approved a bunch of clubs to like clear up our list of clubs that were approved.
Right.
And just basically approved all of them in one go. But then I don't know if they did this on purpose or something, but the Students for Life Club announced that they had been approved like a few weeks later. I remember we got some like backlash from that because people thought that we had approved them just in time for a motion to not be addressed at the General Assembly. But we had approved them like a long time beforehand. It's just that they made it public themselves on like close assembly. I don't know if they did it on purpose or if it was just a thing that happened. But there's more. Yeah, I mean. But then I forget what happened with the General Assembly, but like basically what happened is we had a lot of meetings. I don't know when this happened. It was during reading weeks. I wasn't even in Ottawa. And it was just like a huge thing. And everyone was just messaging me. He's like, Hassan, have you heard about this? And it was like an obvious, yes, I have heard about this. We're the ones who approved them. But when we came back, we had a meeting with a bunch of people. They were like, what are we going to do about this? And especially about that line that allowed clubs to be autonomous, which I actually mentioned in the blog as well, was apparently added because of pressure from the pro-life club. Like that's a rumor though, so I'm not sure if it's true. Someone said that it was done by that, because I think the SFUO also had a pro-life club that they disapproved. So when UOSU was coming up, they like added the line back, and then that's how we were able to approve the pro-life club. But yeah, I mean, that's what happened. And then there was protests, or like not a protest, but there was like, I don't know.
There was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of posts and.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of social media stuff. But I remember students also organized I guess you could call it a protest at the General Assembly where they had signs and stuff to like show.
Right, yeah.
Show that they were, against the idea. But.
How did it resolve?
Yeah. I don't think it has resolved yet. But the Student Life Committee voted that they would remove the club, so we did that.
Was it off like a bullshit reason that you removed it, though?
No, they just decided that. So UOSU first became a pro-choice organization.
Right.
That's how we were like, okay, we're not going to have any pro-life clubs if UOSU is a pro-choice organization.
Right.
There could have been a reason that we could have removed them for whereas then that they were associated with like an external organization.
Oh,
that could have been making decisions based for their club. and we had to do a little bit more research to prove that. We weren't able to do that. So you also took the club down, and then we took the club down. But then the club appealed the decision, and I think the decision was made at the General Assembly, which the club appealed. So it's just a bunch of like decision appeal situation going on. I think it's still going on.
Oh man, bureaucracy.
The club isn't a club. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like outside of, it's not a CVO thing anymore. It's US is dealing with it. It has been for quite a while. So I don't know what's happening. It might be resolved, to be honest. But last I heard, it wasn't. But yeah. Okay, so the next thing, we only have 2 left, so this is going pretty fast. That's good.
Short and sweet.
Is the Scientology guide that we posted on our Instagram. This is actually very planned, and we knew we were going to get in trouble for this. But because, okay, so basically what was happening is, most people know, is that the Scientology, or I guess they didn't call themselves Scientology people, they called them like, I forget what they were calling themselves, but they were associated with Scientology, and they were like therapists or whatever, and they were UAuto basically let them on campus, and they were having this whole like exhibition in UCU, but it was happening at the same time as our winter clubs fair, so we were like right next to each other. And I remember Yosu decided they were going to protest the whole exhibition, and they were going to like go and stand there and have signs and stuff.
It wasn't Yosu. It was just like a bunch of people, students.
Yeah, that's true. It was just a bunch of students, but Yosu decided they were going to go to it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. So the Yosu, so when we were doing, like, Chris and Bardia were taking photos of the club's fairs people. So I told Chris, I'm like, yo, go to the Scientology people and take a picture of one of the protesters, and we'll post it alongside the club's fair photos. So he did that. But then when Yosu was going to the protest, we kind of followed them. We kind of went with them.
We were bored.
And I decided we were really bored. And I thought it was really funny that we got to post. And okay, so basically what I wanted to do, apart from the picture, was take a story post and post it on our story. Because during the club's fair, we get like a bunch of views on our stories. So I was doing that, and then I remember Sam and Jason were like, Hassan, stop, don't do that. You can't do that. And they didn't have a reason as to why. So I just kind of did it anyways. I remember Sam and Jason were super against it, but then Judy was like helping me clean up my camera so I could take a better picture. So that was really funny. But then we did that, and that was fine because stories go away after 24 hours.
Well, I think like the worst part was you were trying to like get the good frames. You're like, oh, can this like protester move to the left a bit to get the better lighting or whatever?
Yeah, because what was happening, because there was a smudge on my phone camera, so that's like I couldn't figure out why the photo wasn't looking good. So I was like trying to get people to like get in better lighting, but then Judy comes and like wipes my camera. I was like, oh, there you go.
Meanwhile, the rest of you were kind of just like nervously like laughing.
Yeah, they were like, Hassan, you can't do this. But actually, that didn't end up being a problem because the story went away after 24 hours, right? So no one even complained. But it was when we made the clubs for post, because after every clubs for we post like 10 photos on our Instagram, and then the 10th photo was the photo that Chris took, like a professionally taken photo of one of the protesters, and it said like F the cult on his like sign, and that was up for like maybe a few hours, and then Sam was like, Hassan, you have to take this down, you can't post this. But I was like, nah, I was like, no, I don't want to, and I was like, we can talk about it in your office or something. So I wanted to leave it out for as long as possible, and I just wasn't gonna talk to him in his office, because that's what happens usually with these things. Is usually if we ignore them, they just go away. But what ended up happening is that evening I had to go to Sam's office for something else, and I basically got trapped. I went in, and then he was there, and Judy was there, and they're like, Hassan, you need to remove this, like seriously. And then I had to like pick my battles, and I had to remove it because I didn't want them to take away our Instagram posting rights.
Oh yeah, right.
Because technically we're not allowed to post on Instagram without like Yoso approval, or I guess services aren't, but we're like kind of a service, but kind of not. It's just really weird. So like I don't want them to take that away. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll delete it, which is too bad because it was our most liked post. Like, but yeah, and then that flew over. That's the end of that.
Might be our most scandalous one because that's our most planned scandal.
Yeah. Yeah, and we knew we were gonna get in trouble.
Like that was our fault.
Yeah. And then the last one is something people actually don't know about because it happened very internally. The mini student life awards that we did. This one you didn't like at all, did you?
What do you mean?
Even though You were so like I remember in the chat you were like, you're gonna get us all suspended from school.
I wasn't
But
I wasn't nervous about it. I just thought, don't flex your crimes.
even though it was your whole idea.
Yeah, but it wasn't my idea to, publicize it. Anyways,
So
context.
basically,
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened is for our student life awards, it didn't all very sad. And Evan, since he's, super optimistic, had the great idea
Well, it's
to
because
do a
we got canceled like within 24 hours right before we were going to have it. So everyone was pretty bummed out, and we still had the space. So it's just like, why don't we just, have our own little SLA? Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a great idea, to be honest. Like, I feel like if we went back in time and I knew we were getting in trouble, I would still do it. But basically what we did is we did a student life awards for ourselves, and we did like, if people have watched The Office, like a Dundee's situation, we gave everyone like plastic trophies.
Still don't know what Dundee is, man.
It was like, it's a thing from The Office. If you watch. Yeah. But basically we gave everyone plastic trophies, and the awards were like stupid awards. What was yours again?
I still have mine. It's give me 1 second. It feels like there's a lot of tension between us award. Inside joke.
So we had a bunch of like inside jokes kind of thing. And it was because we had all the decorations and everything, and a lot of people had brought their dresses and what they were going to wear and everything. So we decided we were going to do it, and we did it. But then everything. Okay, so the thing is, we did it in Tabaret, like where we had supposed to have a student life awards, and which is like the university's biggest like space, and we didn't tell the university about it that we were doing it. So
you told Jason.
Yeah, but Jason is in the university.
Okay.
Yeah, so we told Jason, which actually helped out a lot, but we didn't tell like conventions and reservations, which is the university department.
But there's so little time. Like we were canceled like within 24 hours, so like it was all very like.
Yeah, and then we had to plan this whole thing.
Yeah.
Even when I told Jason, it was like over a really quick text.
Because everyone was
like
there was a lot of like the COVID just started getting to the news really in Ottawa, so it was kind of everything was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like we were hiding it. I think I would have, if we had thought about it, I would have told conventions.
Yeah, it was just so rushed.
Yeah, it was, even telling Jason was like a super, it was like wait, we should tell Jason kind of thing. But even on that day, we had protections or security staff come, and they were like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, we had an event, it got canceled, so we're doing this. And they were pretty okay with it. Even like the dean's assistant came, and he was okay with it too. So we thought we were pretty much in the clear. But I don't know how, it was like a few weeks later.
Dude, it was like a month later, wasn't it?
Yeah. Basically, I think it was because Mishi posted the team photo on her Instagram, and then I shared it to the CVO Instagram. And someone from conventions and reservations might have saw it. They're like, wait a minute, that looks like Tabaret. And I think they thought that we did the whole Student Life Awards, like without telling them, because that's what they told Mano, who's the UOSU exec director. And then she sent me an email. She's like, Hassan, what are you doing? You did the whole event. Like, you better have an explanation. And I was like, no, we didn't do the whole event. It was just like 20 people, just the exec and some friends. And we did like a small little event. And she was like, okay, this is the first time hearing about this.
Back in the day when you could have 20 people hang out together.
Yeah, because that was still allowed back then.
It was 50 was the max.
That was March 14th. So COVID had like just started in Ottawa. But I remember the first email Manon sent. She was like, Hassan, depending on what happened at this event, it could like affect your academics. And I was like, oh my god. But then after I explained it to her, she kind of dealt with it herself. She was like, she talked to Mary Sylvie, who's a convention reservations person, and she kind of handled it for us. I remember a convention was like, hey, we have like a really good relationship with UOSU, with booking rooms and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is getting pretty serious.
But it's just so weird because it was like a month after it happened. So it's just like, it just felt like people were bored and they just wanted to like stir the pot.
But yeah, and then Mano just talked to me. She said, Hassan, please don't ever do this again. And I was like, okay, I hope I don't have to do it ever again.
I remember Amina got into some trouble for it too, like, or not in trouble, but like a talk, because now she's like the student services commissioner.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, but mostly we just Manoa just telling us to never do it again.
Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't actually get in real trouble for it. But I think that was the end of that, and then that was the end of our year.
Yeah, but we haven't done anything since. We were like, oh, we did our online thing.
Yeah, nothing's too scandalous, I guess.
There's no scandals to do these days.
Yeah, that's true. It's nothing to do. We should start the pod. We should like make that in air.
We should like somehow make an event at UWADWA.
Yeah.
In-person event.
Oh, we did the April Fool's thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think like some people got upset over that. They were like,
Jason sent you like an email that he was really mad or something.
He said he was going to, and then he realized that it was a prank, then he didn't.
What was the April Fool's thing anyways?
I want to see that email.
I forget what it was.
Basically, we basically posted that we were going to do the Student Life Awards, and we were just going to like not listen to the law, which was like you can't do big events.
Oh yeah, right.
And we posted about it, and we invited everyone like through email, and we had an Eventbrite and everything. So some people believed it. And I think a few people did get upset because they were like, you shouldn't joke about COVID and stuff, which is fair, I guess. But
April Fools.
I remember if people were still not like, because we sent another email, which was like, oh, this is an April Fool's. So people were still like, a few weeks later, they were like, hey, just letting you know that we won't be coming because COVID. And then we were like, no. It's just
they must think we're so stupid for having an event. And yet
I wonder if some people still don't know.
It's like these idiots did an event during COVID.
Yep. I guess that was a little bit online, but I think for most of our things, what we usually do is something happens and then we ignore it and then it just goes away.
Our luck's gonna run out one of these days.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are out in a year.
The rest of CVO, yeah, good luck.
And now I don't know. Maybe we'll probably have less scandals next year because we're just doing the same things.
I really can't imagine what we're gonna do at all.
Yeah, because I don't know if school will open up at all. But yeah, that was all of the CVO scandals. Not very exciting at all, to be honest.
This should not come out at all. It's just so boring.
Wait, pardon? You cut off.
This should just like I don't think anyone's gonna listen like this far into it.
Yeah, people might be like clickbaited by the scandals title.
That's all that matters then.
Yeah, get those views.
Get that initial click.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that was it. So I guess just say bye.
Yeah. Till next time.
Bye. Yep. Till next time. All right. Cool. Yep. Till next time. All right. Cool.